In the past, I talked about, actually, I think I've talked about for 3 years, ending the show at the end of this year. It would take us to the end of the election.
You
And
said that every year, man.
no, but I mean, but I feel for years, I've specifically eyed this thing. I mean, before the SourceFed deal happened, I was literally thinking of quitting. And then all of a sudden it was like, there was an opportunity that was like, cause it was like, you could build, you could, one, be set, and then two, everyone could do these bigger things, and you'd be on TV and digital and blah blah, and it was like so fancy, and all of a sudden I had this renewed spirit, and so I think, but even that kind of taught me I have the ups and downs, but I've been of this mindset that by the end of this year something has to change. Every time, even starting up the podcast 2 weeks ago, this is like me figuring out what the boundaries are, where are the guardrails before I fucking go off the edge. So because it was like the pandemic hit, and immediately I was like, okay, I gotta maximize everyone we have on fucking staff. I gotta maybe the fucking PDS is 7 days a week, so I have everyone doing everything, and then other people are doing their job, but then I'm realizing it's all falling on my neck. It's just me. I'm burning out, and so that actually ends up fucking even more people than if if we do less. And so I pulled away all the way back to 4 days a week. There's no Rogue Rocket videos. I obviously we had to because of the pandemic. We stopped the podcast, but even reintroducing the podcast, even that's the first thing I can add, because this doesn't feel like work. This is me like, oh, I get to talk to Joe, and some sponsors want to be involved, and people are pumped to just see people being people. Like, it's like the fucking best of all worlds. And I'm not stressed about the numbers or any of the fucking other shit, and other people are clipping the videos for me, and other people are like doing the description, and I'm like, if I can just hop in 2 minutes, this is like a helpful thing for me. So it's me finding the guardrails again. There's been a lot of requests from sponsors to do a Friday show, and I'm like, I would love to take that money, but I will slam my head through a wall.
That's healthy. And Elliot and I were commenting to each other. We saw your tweet, I don't know, it was like a week or 2 weeks ago, where you're like, I gotta take a fucking break.
Oh yeah.
And we both like brought it up to each other at the same time, and we're like, that's one of the smarter things that we've seen him do. But for real, taking that moment and going, I have to, otherwise whatever I'm making isn't gonna be good anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explode.
But then me being me, what I end up doing is I end up going like, because that was incredibly well received, which was shocking to me, because I thought people would be like, boo hoo, fuck you, or at least a decent chunk. But I was like, I should have turned it into a video, just because by only doing it on Twitter, our views dropped 30%. Like when we came back, which was bigger than when I let people know in a video that I was gonna be gone for a month and a half.
They weren't informed,
but then,
so they're like, where's Phil?
Yeah, and so it took me a week to just be like, that's fine. That's fine. It's not about that.